This part of the programme, we're going to be talking about 5G. Telecommunications technology moves apace, we know that. And now we've become accustomed to 3G and then 4G networks. It's almost time for the next big thing, which is apparently 5G, which is fifth generation rather than 5 gigahertz, I believe. But around the world, there's been a backlash against the possible health risks of the new system. Some places have banned it entirely, although our own public health director thinks that it's safe. Some local people aren't so sure, though. Suzanne Young, Pilates and goat yoga teacher, lives in Ramsey, and Paul Nolan, originally from Dublin, but 20 years in Laxey, are part of the 5G Aware Isle of Man Association. Welcome to you both.
Thanks, Stu.
Thank you very much for coming into the programme today, because this is one of those stories that, I sort of look at news sites and watch clips on YouTube and all the rest of it all the time. And I've seen quite a few comments about 5G being unsafe, and I've thought, I'm not sure, but a lot of people seem to be very concerned about it, more so than people have been concerned about mobile phone radiation for years, but this seems to be different. So why is it different?
Well, 3G and 4G were more to do with mobile phone networks, and 5G is now, it will be to do with your phones, but it's also to do with the Internet of Things and for self-driving cars.
Right.
So there's a bit more to it. They need closer antenna, closer to each other, higher frequencies.
I believe that it's a weaker signal, but it's a higher frequency.
That's right, yeah, but more intense.
If you're close to it.
Yeah.
And because it's a weaker signal, they've got to have an awful lot more transmitters, so people do risk being fairly close to these things.
That's right. They're going to be really close to residences, up to 20 metres away from your primary window.
Yeah.
So they'll be coming to streets. There's talks that they could be on the street lamps.
Yes.
And then antennas outside people's bedrooms. They're coming too close.
All right. Well, Paul, why is it dangerous? Because all these technologies, when they first come out, everybody says, oh, no, we don't want any of that. It could be dangerous. It could fry our children's brains or whatever it is. So what is the perceived danger of 5G?
Well, the perceived danger is that not enough research has been done on it. Yeah? Hence the reason why we put a petition to Tynwald on the 5th of July, right? Advocating the precautionary principle. Mm-hmm. Yeah? So I'm not going to sit here and sort of say, like, we know for certain it causes brain cancers and headaches and all the rest. But the research to date has indicated that.
Right.
Yeah?
Okay.
And part of the issue you have here, Stu, is that you have now got two views or thoughts, two extremes.
Yeah.
Yeah? You've got ICNIRP and WHO on one side, and one part of WHO is saying, listen, it's safe and it can operate up to quite a maximum level, right?
Is this what our Director of Public Health relies on,
That's
the
right,
WHO?
right. And then you have another independent, and we'll always say independent, informed group of scientists, independent scientists, right? Over 200 of which recently, right, in January of this year, wrote to the UN and asked for more, WHO and United Nations, sorry, take that back, the EU, sorry, and asked for more research to be done on this. And these people came from 40 different countries, and they put their name to the bottom of a letter, right? So they're standing above the parapets and putting their reputations online and saying more research needs to be done.
Yeah.
And we also know, and this is on the petition we went through to Tynwald, which will be up on our site. We also know that sort of currently electromagnetic EMF in this area is rated as 2B, which is possibly cardiogenic, right?
Okay.
Right, and there's a research going on, another research will take place in another 5 years, so it takes long to do this research, which may sort of classify this as 2A, which is probable.
Right,
yeah?
Okay.
And that's what we're hearing back from the scientists. So you have two fields of thought on this, right?
And of course, the problem is that the people behind it, the manufacturers of the equipment and the governments and everybody else who wants faster internet access and wants to have self-driving cars, they want to push it through, so they don't really want to wait 5 years while people do tests, I'm guessing.
Very much so, yeah. It's not in their interests, right? But I will say this, right? What Manx Telecom are currently pushing, which is the fibre optic cable, right? Which is fixed lines, yeah? As part of that key strategy, we fully support. Anything to do with fixed lines is probably quite key from that end, yeah?
Right.
Because it takes away the risk from it, yeah? What's also highlighted in the petition as well, they went to Tynwald, and the reason why we're here more than anything else is because in some respects, we're oldies and we'll move on a generation, right? This impacts young children
Yeah.
and the next generation. and they don't have a voice here, right? So we feel responsible that in terms of we should do that, right?
Yeah.
That's probably quite key from that end, yeah.
But you're genuinely saying that you don't know if you're right about that. I mean, it's a bit like me and climate change. I'm not convinced that there is climate change, but it's just a feeling. You're saying that you might be wrong, that it might be completely safe, but you need some research. We need to know for sure that it's safe, not just presume it is.
I'll put it another way, Stu. I hope I'm wrong.
Yes.
Okay, so but until the research is done, right? It feels like we're in an open experiment here,
Yeah.
where you've got two fields of thought operating.
Well, I've seen reports from places, and I can't remember where now. Was it Switzerland? I can't remember. Jurisdictions that have said we don't want this tested on our population. You know, and I think that was a fairly powerful thought. We don't want our population to be used as guinea pigs in this.
Yeah.
And I also feel very sorry for the people that are already sensitive to electromagnetic frequencies. It's not a recognised condition, but we have come across lots of people who are already hypersensitive.
Right.
Some of them have had to completely withdraw from society, give up their jobs. They can't be near Wi-Fi and routers. Those people are really concerned because they're going to be exposed to it 24/7. What's going to happen to them? So people are saying there needs to be white areas.
Yeah.
There needs to be safe spaces for these people as well.
Right. Okay.
And it should become a recognised medical condition.
Well, you had a public meeting in Ramsey last week, I think, about this. Was that well attended?
It was quite short notice. It was actually to speak to the commissioners, but it was very short notice. We wanted to get as many commissioners together to talk to them about the consultation, the online consultation for the telecommunications development order, to discuss with them and get a planning consultant in to explain what the consequences are with regard to the change they're trying to make to the planning laws.
Right.
We opened it up to the public as well, and yeah, it was nicely attended. It was in the town hall. We've had a couple of little meetings, and they're getting bigger and bigger. So we do have to.
So there's a
contain it.
groundswell of opinion or
Definitely.
concern about this.
Definitely, but at the meetings we are preaching to the converted. It's all people who have got the same mindset as us.
Yes.
Are concerned citizens, and we haven't been given enough information about the safety. We'd like the government to prove to us that it's safe, rather than us having to prove to them that we think it's unsafe.
Well, I presume, Paul, that this is one of those things that they will just do. They'll just sort of get this going without actually needing to ask anybody about it, will they?
Well, that's the concern.
Unless you stop them.
If I'm honest with you, Stu, right, we've arrived quite late to the game. Yeah, so this has been going on in government circles, I would imagine, over the last few years, definitely within the industry, right? So they're pushing it through. Hence the reason why we've driven through the Tinwell petition. Well, we had an article in last week's Courier on page 6. Why we're driving more meetings with councillors next week. We're going around to them. But at the end of the day, we need a more informed public. And that's the reason why we put the website together. So to stop people from going into 10 different places, right, we try to sort of grab this together. They can look at one or two the items on it. They can look at the petition. They can look at all of the things behind it. Now, whether they feel that's the other side of the story or not, at least they can go and have a look at it.
Yes.
Yet it's all in one place, right?
Yeah.
And the more informed the public are, the better it is. I'm old enough to remember what happened with the tobacco industry 30 years ago.
Oh, well, they were saying it was perfectly safe and all the rest of it.
That's
yeah,
right,
of course.
Now, I said earlier, I hope we're wrong, right? But we definitely need a more informed public. You cannot just rely on government officials to do this and do this right for you.
I suppose the worry is that if you are wrong, then, you know, the politicians and the telecoms companies are going to moan about the fact that they've lost 5 years of having this brilliant new technology in place and that they knew all along that you were wrong.
Well, that's a funny conversation, isn't it? Like, because we're betting with people's health. Yeah,
that's
and that's the thing here, right? If we were having a conversation about a pill you were taking or a vaccine or whatever it is, right? People would have choice.
Oh, and there are conversations about that as well, aren't
That's
there?
right, they are. But people still have a choice.
Yes.
Yeah. What we're saying here, after the government go through their consultation in terms of planning laws, right? Yeah, you may be able to object to something going up because it's in your way or whatever it is, but you won't be able to object to it on health grounds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you lose and that consultation is up on the 4th of August, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people have about a week to actually get online, and we have that up on our website as well.
All right.
So it's a bit of a one-stop shop in terms of actually where they can go to and look for things.
All right. Well, we'll just take a quick break and then we'll talk about the website and give people the address.